How do you mentor a new role player as a fellow player? Today on Out of Character. Hi, and welcome to Out of Character. I'm Jason Corley.
I'm Don Dem.
And I'm Aaron Lee Newbern.
And today on Out of Character, assisting us with engineering is Scott Forster.
Hello.
Before we get started on our topic today, I wanted to talk about our upcoming live stream. It's going to be on livestream.com/pulpgamer. We're going to have John Wick, award-winning game designer, friend of the show. He's appeared before. We're going to be talking about some topics that his games raise, some discussion subjects that I know that he'll have a lot to say on. And you can be part of it because we'll be monitoring our Twitter feed. We'll be monitoring our Facebook. Your questions to us and to John will be part of the show. That's on August 21st, 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And again, that's livestream.com/pulpgamer. And everybody's going to be there.
Looking forward to that.
Oh, it should be a blast.
It's going to be fun. That's going to be something brand new that we've not done in this studio yet before.
Yeah.
And kind of been actually shied away from because I've always liked, the downloadable content.
Right. And also
I think
we have people like Aaron to edit it and make us smarter.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be the problem with the live stream is that it will be unedited. I won't be able to save you.
Exactly. So you will get to hear our wonderful thoughts unedited, like not with the Aaron filter, and all of their dumbness and glory on August 21st. So,
yes, because the show is so tightly scripted.
Now, this is a topic that we actually have discussed more than once, and actually even back in the days of audio, how you mentor a new role player and how you get a new player involved in the game. And one suggestion that Don has always had, which I thought is excellent, is assign another player to be their mentor, so sort of as a colleague or an assistant almost, to get the new person involved in the game. And then I started thinking, well, if I was that mentor, if I was the person who, Don, if you were running a game and you said, Jason, Aaron's new, I want you to help her out, what would I do as a mentor to help? And so I thought that topic would be good to really go into some detail on. And also I've gotten a lot of requests from people to go into what makes a good player. We talk a lot about good GMing on this show. But to be a good player, that's a whole different set of skills.
There is, and that's a fascinating one. I think that's a whole show in itself.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So let's talk about the new role player at the table. You are a fellow player. What are some things that you can do in order to improve their experience and help them learn the game?
It's funny when you bring that up because the first thing I'm going to say is throw the ball back and say I think you need to work with the GM a little bit, right? Because some of it is about selecting the right game and working with them. Let's assume though that you've done all that,
okay,
and then the next most obvious place to start is okay. If you're putting together, if you're starting with a character, make sure it's the right choice for the person playing. I've seen, many times where it's been like, oh, you can do whatever you want. That's what's so wonderful about this game. So, wizard, a cleric. Great. Why don't you play the cleric? That sounds exciting to you, which I think has gotten easier over the years. But you know that's a cardinal sin for a new player.
And the reason for that is in prior editions of Dungeons and Dragons, which is the game you're talking about, clerics had a million spells, and you had to choose which ones you were going to cast every single adventuring day.
Of Dungeons and Dragons, somebody put a 20th level wizard in front of me.
Oh God!
It was a while.
I can't believe you're still in the hobby.
I know. It's enough. But yeah, that was.
Do you need
scary.
a hug?
And that's the and that actually is an advantage of 4th edition because the number of things that you have to do are much shorter. Your options are constrained, and most of them are pretty flavorful.
They're printed on little cards, even.
yeah, and that's actually a topic we're going to talk about next time is those cards. So okay, so you're going to help them make choices that are going to have a clear way forward for them in the game.
Make sure you don't make it, or you don't overwhelm them. Is really what that comes down to.
Right. Starting
with character creation, and then I can go, right into, the next point, and that is try not to explain the entire game to them in one sitting.
Right.
Go as you go. Pick out a few things that you can do in repetition. Remember, it's always, again, using the same D&D, you always roll a D20 and add a number. This one's the number. This one's the number. Add a D20, add this number.
Yeah.
Or roll a D20, right?
One thing that I've done, and this is not just as a player, but as a GM too, what I like to do is I like to have a goal. Why am I actually going to be here to play this game today? What's my goal? How am I going to improve my play? And it helps if you're doing that with a new person. You can say, Okay, Aaron. So at this upcoming session, we are going to have, we're going to focus on combat. We know there's going to be a combat. We've been chasing this bad guy for a while. You and I are going to work out the best tactical strategies for you and I to use.
All right.
And so that way there's a goal set up at the beginning of the game, and you don't have to learn every single thing. But if this is the session where we're going to learn about combat, that gives you something you can focus on and think about when it's not your turn. So, Aaron, what have you told me before before we started filming was you made a few mistakes in this area in the past.
Yes.
Now we always like to make fun of people's mistakes, tear them apart. So let's hear it.
Here's what I've learned. So a while back in Scott's D&D game, the game I've been playing in for the past 3.5 years now,
something like
that. We had a player named Jose. Jose was one of our favorite players, and he was great, but he didn't really know the system. It wasn't his thing, and so I tried to help him, usually by trying to dictate his turns to him.
You were the backseat player.
I was backseat playing. If I was riding his ass any harder, he would have gotten pregnant from it.
So basically,
there's a visual.
Yeah. So
thanks for
the
that.
important thing is, on one hand, learn how to provide options in a way that does not give analysis paralysis, like Don was saying. But on the other hand, learn to shut up.
Yeah, like they're going to make mistakes.
And you've
got to let them make the mistakes.
You have to let the player have the aha moment when they get to figure out the cool thing.
Right.
And if you deprive them of that, they have no reason to come back. They have no hook. Let them figure it out. And if they don't figure out the most efficient solution, shut up.
Yeah, they are going to... One thing that I've seen is that, especially with the backseat player, and I think we've all seen this at all levels, right? I've had people tell me how to play in a game, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I've played this game for the last 12 years. I think I know how it works. Believe me, I'm picking this tactically unoptimal option because it's because it's related to
for
some
whatever
other
reason.
Related to some other aspect of my character. It's just what I feel like doing. It's my character's signature move, whatever it happens to be. Right? That is what it's going to be. And the fact that it's a bit of a failure, that's the kind of character I play. But and they are never going to develop that if you are constantly, making them do what you want them to do. Let them make mistakes. That's a great insight.
When Jose left our game, he moved out of town. He came back for a week a couple months ago, and we're like, well, we got to bring him in, see what's going on with his character. So we leveled him up, and he came and played. And it was sort of a surprise for some people, and there was a combat, of course, because it was D&D.
Right.
And his first turn, he turns to Aaron, and he's like, so, what do you think I should do? You want to do my turn for me?
I'm sorry, Jose.
Ouch.
I'm really sorry. Please forgive me. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa.
That's awesome. So another area that I thought was helpful was if your game is a game that has mechanics about helping people or improving their chances or improving their odds, pick a character that will complement the new person's character and not overshadow them in their area. Let's say that we're playing like a super spy game and the new player's like, I want to make a kung fu person. Like I'm going to have all the martial arts moves. I'm going to know every kind of martial art and have all the cool martial arts powers. And I'm going to be able to just punch some guy in the next Thursday. So
as a mentor, you shouldn't do that. Oh yeah, me too, but I'm going to do it better.
Right, exactly. Because you know the system. You're an experienced role player. You can make a better kung fu character than they can anytime you feel like it. You've got to resist that. Instead, what you do is you make a social character, right? Someone who can talk their way in, or a disguise character who can get the martial arts character into the same room with the big bad guy, so then they can punch him into next Thursday.
Right. Related to that topic is letting the new player get to do the cool things.
Yes.
Is learning that, okay, I could knock this guy out right now, but you've got a plan. I'm going to help you with your plan, so you get to be the one to bash the
or give them instructions in character. Help!
Punch him! Hurt him!
There's a difference
Run right
between
by
saying,
him so you can
oh my God, get him! He's going to murder me. Versus, okay, so you're going to want to move to this square and use this power followed by this in combination with this in blah-de-blah-de-blah. Shut up.
Right. And actually, in character speech, this is something that Derek has mentioned several times on the program. A lot of times, that's a big hurdle for new players is in character speech. So that can be the goal for one of your sessions is we're going to try out talking in character and see how it goes. It may very well be that they don't end up liking it, or they're uncomfortable, or whatever it happens to be, or they might really take to it. But yeah, using your character as a means to shine a spotlight on them as a player, that's something that can really help a new person to feel like I'm part of the group. I mean, look, there's this experienced player who's, helping me out. And secondly, I'm contributing to the group in an area that nobody else can. They're all relying on me to be the martial arts guy or whatever it happens to be.
I actually saw a competition for like dungeon encounter design. It might have been a Wizards of the Coast one. It might have just been another publisher. And the winner, it was last year, and I wish I had the stats for it, but I wasn't prepared. But the winner actually made it was all pre-generated characters, and he made every character have a connection with another character mechanically. Like there was this brother-sister team that one of them could knock a target prone, and then the next one could do extra damage to a prone target. Another one could, set people on fire, and the other one could do the partner to that one could do more damage if somebody was on fire. So it made people work together. And so, I do something cool, but it also sets up something cool for you, which, is a great idea for this, but that's more of a DM or I guess a character building.
Yeah. Let's put like a game design situation. A lot of superhero games have stuff like that. The classic being, Marvel has the super strong character, and Wolverine's in the same room as a super strong character. They're going to pick him up and throw him at somebody.
Right.
Then that's just a special move, and a lot of games have special moves like that, where if two people work together, they get a big bonus or an added effect. So I think we have a lot of good ideas here. I think we fleshed out Don's idea from before a little bit. So if you have ever mentored a player, as a fellow player or as a GM, and you've had any techniques or experiences that went well or not so well, then you can send them to us on Twitter. You can send them to us on Facebook. You can post them in the comments here on YouTube or on pulpgamer.com. And don't forget to visit livestream.com/pulpgamer on August 21st. 7 p.m. Pacific to see our first ever live show. And I think that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys.
pulpgamer.com